Good morning, and thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering the NBA playoff series games that happened last night. We'll also be talking about Dak Prescott and his future with the Dallas Cowboys. We'll also be covering could schools face bankruptcy from the name, image, and likeness lawsuit. And make sure you guys stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into the Keeping the Faith feel-good story of the week. Before we start, though, I wanted to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show. I'm gonna have to get like a clacker board for you.
Faith is putting all my business out on the street. Everyone.
I am not putting all your business out on the street.
I think I'm in the safe zone. Faith is like, oh, we're recording. I'm over here asking about should I run to the restroom or not. And Faith is
I always ask before I hit the streaming button. I'm like, okay, Tate, are you ready? And you're like, yes, I'm ready. And so then that for me is my cue to start streaming. And Tate's over here talking about running the restroom. Well, you can't now, yes. So.
Hopefully I got a strong bladder, apparently. Or this episode's going to be brought to you by the Pens. How are you doing, Faith?
I'm good. I'm doing good. It's a lovely Tuesday morning.
I like what? That's not lace. What would you call that? It's more sheer, your shirt.
I could have told you until you asked me.
Well, it looks awesome. Thank you. You look amazing as always.
Thank you.
So, okay. So, have you been keeping an eye on things as far as the NBA? It's starting to heat up here? So,
have I been keeping an eye on it?
Yes.
These games happened kind of late last night, so no. I was in bed by 9 o'clock last night.
You gotta step your game up.
Listen. I am doing the best that I can right now, but I do have to get up early in the morning for the show, so it's either Faith stays up and watches all the games, and she's groggy in the morning, or she goes to bed at a decent time and she's nice and peppy in the morning. So,
although I'm going to tell you, yesterday I saw you. You were like holding so hard, trying not to yawn like 3 different times. You're like, yeah. Oh God, I'm about to burst here. You're talking about starting late. I think that Laker game for me started at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, no,
thanks. I get up in the morning and then I watch the game. So the games are over. Do you know how hard it is to watch games
after they're over?
Yes, but you don't want anyone, you don't want anything to show you. So you're like,
you don't want anybody spoiling anything.
Well, nope, I don't want to watch this. I'm not going to do this. So I got to watch the games with not someone, ruin it for you is hard.
Yeah.
Especially, alerts on your phone. You go to YouTube and things, and it's just kind of hard to do. So. Yeah.
Alrighty.
So,
well,
all right.
I'm
getting over to the left of here. I'm getting some signals, and I'm just kind of So
okay.
Was inquiring this. If we were actually live yet. So I'm like,
yes, we are.
So, and I keep getting the signal and I'm like, I'm trying to concentrate on my girl Faith over here right now.
Alrighty.
So,
So let's just dive right into this. We're going to start off with the Nuggets and the Lakers. So Jamal Murray sinks a shot at the buzzer to cap a 20-point comeback and lead Nuggets past the Lakers 101-99. Jamal Murray didn't even see the biggest basket of his career, at least not live. He didn't. Murray swished a step back 15-footer over Anthony Davis at the buzzer Monday night, giving the Denver Nuggets a stunning 101-99 win over the Los Angeles Lakers and capping a comeback from a 20-point second half deficit. Murray tumbled into the Nuggets bench along with Davis just as his shot fluttered the net, and roar from the crowd shook Ball Arena. I just lost my balance and fell. I think AD was in my way or somebody was in my way, and I just heard everybody scream, and that's how I knew it went in, said Murray, who was mobbed by his teammates after his bucket gave the reigning NBA champion their 10th consecutive win over the Lakers. More importantly, it gave Denver a 2-0 lead in their Western Conference series that shifts to Los Angeles for Game 3 Thursday night. Murray missed 13 of his first 16 shots and was easily the most flustered, frazzled, and frustrated of all his teammates when it appeared the Nuggets would lose to the Lakers for the first time in 494 days. I told my teammates I was struggling. I'm going to look for y'all, and every single one of them told me to keep shooting, recounted Murray, who did just in going 6 for 8 and 14 points in the fourth quarter to finish with 20 points. So, big shot at the end of the game.
First off, you know how yesterday I described this series like that Christmas movie that you see every year. You don't want to watch it, but someone has it on somewhere.
You saying it's different this time?
This one was different. Do you watch horror movies?
I love them. Yes, love horror movies.
Okay, give me some of your favorite ones. Like I like the old school ones, like Freddy Krueger and Jason. Those guys. Who are yours?
The Conjuring is my top number one on my list. The Conjuring.
I don't know that one at all.
Still terrifies me. Gosh, I don't know. You put me on the spot here. The Conjuring is my number one, though. That is my number one horror movie.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I bring up a horror movie is at some point during the horror movie, the evil person, you think he's dead. He's dead. It's over. Finally, we killed Jason. Finally, we killed Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
Finally, Michael Myers canceled Christmas. He's done. And everyone relaxes. And there he comes again.
Yeah.
And then he's back again.
Yeah.
Well, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, Nikola Jokic, it's all the same. Jokic was that guy. He was that beast that I was afraid of, that I thought he was dead. LeBron going off. Anthony Davis going off. We had a sighting of D'Angelo Russell in a playoff game against the Nuggets. That is like seeing the dodo bird. It doesn't exist anymore. That's an extinct species. But D'Angelo Russell was out there, clean, looking good. D'Angelo Russell, I was like, man, this is all we needed. The Lakers are up 20. The Lakers are rolling. You know, Freddy Krueger's dead. Michael Myers is dead. Jason's dead. And so is the Jokic. And then it was the same old movie we got every time. Lakers start out strong. Third quarter, Denver comes rallying back. Next thing you know, the biggest lead since I think it was like 19, let me see how long ago it was. Like in the 1990s. That was the biggest lead they'd given up since the 1990s. They were 20 points up. Denver went on an 18-9 run. LeBron goes down. And I know what LeBron was thinking. The game is coming down to the end, and LeBron is trying to put the dagger and kill him finally. He fires that shot. It goes awry. Murray goes down the court, AD picks him up, solid defense, nothing wrong with AD, was just absolutely perfect. Fired his shot, bam, and the Lakers are dead.
Yeah.
It was a horror movie. This is exactly what the Lakers were expecting to do. The script that needed to be written on how the Lakers can win this series, you had to have LeBron go off. You had to have AD go off. You needed a supporting third member. That was D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell did his thing. They jumped out to an early lead. I'm thinking, wow, and they're getting Vanderbilt back the next game. The Lakers got a shot here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, Michael Myers comes back. Jason,
all hell breaks loose.
Jokic, another triple double, an 18-9 run. I mean, you think Murray, 14 points in the fourth quarter. There was no stopping Murray. Nikola Jokic or Freddy Cougar, whichever one you want to call him, triple double, 27, 20, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was just like, imagine you saying, we put up our best game against Denver in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost.
And you lost, yeah.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, they're in trouble now.
Yeah.
I think I'm hoping that the Lakers, it's sad to say this, because the saying is, like I said, the series doesn't start until you lose a game at home. But I kind of feel like as a Laker fan, can we get one game? Is it sad that if they won one game, that would be an improvement?
Mm-hmm.
This is 10 straight games they have lost to the Nuggets. These are the Lakers. I truly believe this. I think the Lakers could totally make it to the finals if they could get past this series. But I don't think they can get past this series. This series is too much. Jokic and Murray are just too good. The Lakers, they're just built to just choke the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So you can see why I consider it the Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Cougar, Nikola Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that I wake up. Those are my horror movies right there. And Jokic is kind of like Frankenstein a little bit. He's kind of stiff, a little uncoordinated, but unstoppable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you watch him, rarely do you see anything. He's not an impressive guy. He's just absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best player in the game, doing it uglier than everyone else has done it. I mean, it's amazing. It's so ugly that it's a thing of beauty watching Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
So that is my take on that one.
Okay.
We can put me out of my misery and let's move on to another game.
Tate's worst nightmare are NBA players. So
Nikola Jokic, that is my Freddy Cougar and Jason. I'm just letting y'all know.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, moving on from that, we are now going to be talking about the Knicks versus the 76ers. So Dante DiVincenzo Cap's desperate rally With 3-pointers, Knicks beats the 76ers 104-101 to take a 2-0 lead. An 8-point lead was gone. The Knicks' edge in the series and home court advantage seemed about to follow. Madison Square Garden had fallen nearly silent. I mean, it wasn't a good feeling, Dante said. Moments later, it was bedlam. Dante made a go-ahead 3-pointer with 13 seconds remaining after a desperate scramble, and New York beat the Philadelphia 76ers 104-101 on Monday night to take a 2-0 lead in their first-round playoff series. The Knicks trailed by 5 points within the final 30 seconds before one of the most stunning rallies in playoff history, starting when Jalen Brunson finally got a shot to fall during an otherwise miserable shooting night. Brunson's 3-pointer from the center bounced on the rim and fell in, cutting to a 101-99 with 27 seconds remaining. Josh Hart stole the ball from Tyrese Maxey to get the ball back from the Knicks, but Dante missed a 3-pointer. Isaiah Hortenstein grabbed the rebound and passed it to OG Anunoby. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which got it back to Dante, who hit that one to make 102-101. It was hectic, it was crazy, but at that point we had nothing to lose, Hart said. Got to get as physical as we can, and it panned out. So, another
no, this was different.
Same. I mean, this different, but the same.
Yeah, it was the same as the game was before.
Yeah.
This is what I looked at when I watched this game. Mm-hmm. One team, it was clear. Mm-hmm. It is crystal clear that the best two players on the court, the best two players on both teams belong with the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, Tyrese Maxey was a force. 35 points, played 44 minutes. He, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, almost got a triple-double. Joel Embiid, possibly the best player in the league, our current MVP, he played 39 minutes. I'm shocked over that. He played 39 minutes. It's a big surprise. 34 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Those two guys were just amazing. But it always comes down to, this is one thing that so many people miss out on and make that mistake. And I feel like sometimes the Lakers make this same mistake. Two players do not make a team. Hence the reason why we were just talking about that last series, the Lakers in Denver, the better team won. Well, when you look around and you're saying that 69, almost 70 points was made between two players, and the rest of your team I don't even think the rest of your team even got 30 points combined, everybody on the rest of the team. But then you look at the Knicks. The Knicks, hard-nosed, played solid defense, evenly dispersed. Whether it was OG with 10 points, Josh Hart again. Josh Hart, amazing. 21 points there. Isaiah got 14. Jalen Brunson on fire, 24. Dante DiVincenzo, got to get that one right, 19. McBride coming off the bench with 9. Bogdanovich got 6. My whole point is it was a complete team win. Mm-hmm. You got your bench involved. I mean, when you're looking at, you got 16 off the bench. Both teams played, pretty much the same players off the bench. Those had 3 guys off the bench, but the Knicks just played a better game. A better team game.
Yeah.
As I said before, the best 2 players were clearly on the Knicks side, but best on the Philadelphia 76ers side, like I said. But when you look at that overall, the better defense, the better overall team, and the other thing that really hurt them, Joel Embiid, he was a force, but as the game rolled on, you could tell he was getting slower and slower. That injury was starting to bother him. His effectiveness started to slide. As his effectiveness slid, that's when the Knicks started moving ahead, and slowly as the game went on. Joel Embiid is doing everything under the sun to keep the 76ers into it, but he's rolling he's rolling on a flat. And it was very obvious that injury was bothering him. And it cost them. It was a close game. They could have won this game. And then you had a series. Then you had a real series. But the better team won. So, okay, what do we have next?
We also have the Cavaliers and Orlando Magic. Donovan Mitchell scores 23 as Cavaliers power to a 96-86 win over Magic and a 2-0 lead in the series. Throughout the two games, the Cavaliers have been tough guys in these playoffs. This year, they're the bullies. Donovan Mitchell scored 23 points. Jarrett Allen had 20 rebounds, and Cleveland outlasted the Orlando Magic 96-86 on Monday night in a second straight slugfest to take a 2-0 lead in their first round Eastern Conference series. It's been an impressive opening for the Cavaliers, who spent the regular season waiting for a chance to redeem themselves following last year's first round exit against the New York Knicks, who punished Cleveland in 5 games. The Cavs were labeled soft, especially Allen, who was criticized for saying the lights were too bright. They flipped the script so far. It was very satisfying, Allen said. It shows that we've grown not only as a team but as individuals. We're not folding under pressure. We do have our moments, but as a whole, I feel like we've taken a huge step. Mitchell set the tone as the Cavs led from start to finish, just as they did in Game 1. Evan Mobley added 17 points and Allen scored 16 with 9 offensive rebounds for Cleveland. He's the third player in team history to get 20 rebounds in a playoff game, joining Kevin Love, 21, and Brad Daugherty with 20. It means a lot, Allen said. It's good company.
Okay. This was a defensive battle. And the rebounding was the key. That's what separated these two. When you look at Max, he had 9 rebounds for the Cavs. Evans had 7. You say Jarrett Allen, 20 big rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, he had 8. Garland had 3. That was the difference in the game.
Right.
Because when you're crashing the boards, you're pulling down the rebounds, no one really had a huge game. When you look around and you're like, Donovan Mitchell had 23 points. He was 23, 8, and 4. That's what his stat line was. Really, that's just okay. But when you have a team cleaning the glass the way the Cavaliers did, those offensive rebounds were enormous. And defensively, they really shut down the Magic. I think Magic shot 36% from the field, 20 and 25.7 from 3-point land. You can't do that. You can't shoot poorly,
right?
And get dominated on the boards. That is a recipe for a team getting smoked.
Yeah.
And the Cavaliers are just showing. It's kind of weird because there was a number of people that took the Magic to win this series, and the word about the Cavaliers they're soft. Well, guess what? The Cavaliers are the tougher team. Yes.
Who's soft now?
Exactly. It's like, yeah. Until you corner them and he punches you in the nose.
Yeah.
Then we talk about who really is soft. The Cavaliers are playing Cavaliers are playing textbook basketball.
Yeah.
Playing solid defense, quality rebounding, and no one is really dominating. When you look at Mitchell and you say 23 points from Mitchell, okay. That's not, when 23 points is your leading scorer, that's not a great game, but that's what the Cavaliers do. The Cavaliers are there to play defense and rebound and shut down Orlando, and it is working like a charm.
Yeah.
Cavaliers are up by 2. Really looking forward to seeing how this series changes in Orlando, because when you're a young team, Faith, when shooting, for some reason, when you're younger, when you go home, you shoot at a much higher clip. And so I want to see, does that improve? Does their 3-point shooting improve? Does their overall shooting percentages improve? Does their rebounding improve when they're at home? Because if it doesn't, this series is over.
Yeah.
But it's not over yet. This is one that could go down to the wire. I want to see how Orlando performs in Florida.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see. But with that, guys, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Dak Prescott and his future with the Dallas Cowboys. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the NBA playoffs series that happened last night, and now we're going to be talking about Dak Prescott and the future he may or may not hold with the Dallas Cowboys. Shocker. Guess what we're talking about now?
that's my main man, Dak.
Main man Dak. So the Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott is on a lack of contract talks, saying, "I don't fear playing with another team after 2024." After opening the offseason with a tone of optimism regarding continuing his career in Dallas past this season, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott seems much more open to the possibility of taking his talents out elsewhere after 2024. I'm not going to say I fear being here or not. I don't fear either situation, to be candid with you, Prescott said Friday from the Children's Cancer Fund Gala via The Athletic. "I love this game and I love to play and love to better myself as a player and my teammates around me. Right now it's with the Dallas Cowboys. It's where I want to be and that's where I am. And that's the focus. And after this season, we'll see where we're at and if the future holds that. If not, we'll go from there." Prescott has 1 year remaining at his current contract, a 4-year, $160 million deal deal signed in 2021 and said early in March that he was definitely confident that he and the Cowboys would be able to get an extension done. But that confidence was thrown into question over the course of the month. Owner Jerry Jones said, "I don't fear that," when asked about this season's possibility being Prescott's last in Dallas, followed by reports that the Cowboys had a mutual understanding with the quarterback that they would not adjust his contract before the 2024 season. Prescott confirmed Friday that he and Jones had not had contract discussions, though he said they had conversations on the situation and were aligned with where things stand at the moment. But he did not rule out the possibility of the sides talking in the future, even as he tries to keep his attention on preparing for the season ahead. Sounds like somebody's not going to be there next year, and they just don't want to say anything yet.
Faith, you took the words right out of my mouth. Keep on. No.
They're being so discreet with what they're saying, and, with the whole thing about, CeeDee Lamb holding out for his contract right now because he says he wants more money. And then Mike Parson, the other wide receiver. Yeah, him saying...
Not wide receiver, he's a defensive player. He's defensive end. Yeah, but I got you.
Anyway, So yeah, and then Dak Prescott saying he wants to be the highest paid quarterback right now, and obviously with the salary cap and the amount of money that the Dallas Cowboys have right now, I didn't see him staying to begin with, but now with all this stuff coming out, it definitely does not seem like he's going to be there after this year.
I agree with you. Okay. I noticed there's some key words that are missing here. Mm-hmm. We, us, I'm not worried. Yeah. I'm confident that things will work out. Mm-hmm. Dallas is where I want to be. Mm-hmm. Those are the buzzwords that you hear from a quarterback that wants to stay in Dallas. Dax was, we agreed to not talk anymore about the contract. I'm not afraid that my contract is ending. I'm not afraid to go somewhere else. If I'm not here, I'll be somewhere else. That is definite language for someone that doesn't want to be there any longer. Mm-hmm. Also, when you look around and you hear some of the things that Dak's family has said, to me, a lot of things point to, do Dak and his family really want to be in Dallas? Because I believe his mom and his brother both have said they would love to see him leave. And when you have family members like, they don't appreciate you, you should go somewhere else. People that are in your ear, eventually you start to believe this. Mm-hmm. One thing Dak is missing is there is no franchise in sports that pays better than the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not even talking about contract money. Jerry Jones has no problem paying players. But what that means, whether you're Troy Aikman in the broadcast booth, Roger Staubach became a billionaire, Don Meredith, Tony Romo in the broadcast booth, Moose Johnson, Emmitt Smith. After post-career, Michael Irvin. When you start looking at being a Dallas Cowboy and what that does for you on the field and off the field, I have many a times looked at Dak Prescott and said, he does not get the big picture. Mm-hmm. When I heard this conversation and I watched the video of him talking, I felt like he does not get the big picture. Mm-hmm. Either one, the pressure is getting to him, and maybe that's why he hasn't performed so well in the playoffs. Yeah. Maybe the pressure's too much. Because it's a bright spotlight to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And not everyone wants that spotlight because it burns sometimes. Mm-hmm. When you do well, you sparkle. But when you do bad, you get burned.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like Go ahead. Come on.
I was just going to say, essentially the conversations that are being had is just kind of like, it is what it is, and whatever happens, happens. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from that.
I even got the vibe that it feels like a relationship on the verge of splitting up.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't split up yet, but it's kind of that situation where little things are starting to slip through the cracks now.
Yeah.
I'm okay with my contract running out.
Mm-hmm.
Any quarterback that wants to stay at a team, they're not okay with their contract running out.
Mm-hmm.
They want security.
Mm-hmm.
Football's a dangerous game. So what they want is they want to get that contract taken care of, renewed and extended so that if they get injured, they know they're going to still be with their team.
Right.
Dak is taking that approach of, no, you know what? I'm okay with this. Not a problem. I'll play the rest of the season out and we'll see what happens. And if I'm with the Cowboys, great. If I'm not, great.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of Kirk Cousins when he was in Washington. Same, a lot, very similar. And next thing you know, Kirk Cousins was signing a fully guaranteed contract with the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they're looking at that Kirk Cousins model, and that's their approach.
Yeah.
The only way Dallas and Dak Prescott comes together is if Jerry throws a mountain of money toward the Cowboy toward him, and I don't think they should.
No,
Pay
I don't
him,
think they should
pay him
either.
well. He's talked about, this is the first time he says, and he kind of double talked. He's like, I don't have to be the highest paid quarterback, but I would like to see where things go. I mean, if you watch that interview, he says he doesn't have to be, but he kind of implied how much the money matters in a way. To me, that's kind of the way I took it. I think this relationship is coming to an end. And this is the reason why a player like Dak Prescott, you don't give him a no trade clause. Because when I look at this and I hear the way Dak is talking, and looking at the fact that you have CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons to sign, I would be thinking about this is the time to maybe move forward with Trey Lance and trade Dak Prescott and get a mountain of picks for a player like Dak Prescott, or trade for a younger quarterback maybe that you can move forward with. But I feel like the relationship between Dallas and Dak are coming to an end. And no one wants to say it because the season hasn't started, the season hasn't ended. But I look at a situation, once upon a time, I dated this girl. And my big rule in life is never let someone move. I don't let anyone move in with me ever again. Mm-hmm. But toward the end, you start to say, like, this thing is over. I need to get out of here. But actually, she needs to go, or whatever it is. And so you can see that you live under the same roof, but you're starting to live separate lives. Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of the way you look at that comment with Dak. I'm okay if I come here, or if I don't, I'll be with another team. It's kind of like we're starting mentally to start living separate lives. Mm-hmm. That was my take on all of that. Does that make sense to you?
No, yeah, it does. And I definitely feel like with this article that they are going to go their separate ways after the season is over with. I for sure think that's going to happen.
And here's the reason why. For anyone that's watching this and they say you're crazy, here's the thing. Dak's contract. He's getting paid $29 million this year. There's $40 million in dead cap money. Next year, there's about 35 or so million or so dead cap money. So right around $75 to $80 million over this year and next year in dead cap money. But if the Dallas Cowboys redid Dak's contract and extended it, you could take that $40 million and extend it out over the years of that contract would open up a ton more money for the Dallas Cowboys. They would be able to sign CeeDee Lamb. They would be able to sign Micah Parsons, and they would not have lost the players that they lost this year. Also, they would have had more money to go out and pick up other free agents as well.
Right.
None of that happened. They didn't get a Derrick Henry. They didn't go out and get a solid starting running back. They've lost players. They've lost a few players. They haven't signed CeeDee or Micah yet because they're up against the salary cap. Dallas needs salary cap relief, and the best way to do it would be to restructure Dak Prescott's contract. That has not happened. Free agency has passed, and that money is still on the books. That shows that Dallas, the Cowboy organization, is looking at this as they're either from talking to Dak and Dak's management team, or the Cowboys have made the decision that it's time to move on. That's the vibe I have.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't have any inside information, but when I look at the situation, it looks like it is that time. This is two people about to go through a divorce. They know they know it's going to take them a little time to get out of their lease. So they're waiting on that lease.
They're not telling the kids yet.
Right. They're not telling their friends or anyone yet because they still got another 6 months on their lease.
Yeah.
But the minute that lease is over, it's like, you know what, Faith, you're a good person. I'm a good person. We're just not good together. Let's roll.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I got from that one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hate to say it, but I saw this coming. So.
It's just slowly. I mean, it's like a divorce. You slowly. Have you ever been around a friends who've gotten a divorce? You start seeing little things at first. It's like, oh, they're great together. Aren't they a cute couple? But then you start seeing little things.
I'm not old enough to have experienced friends getting divorced yet.
Girl, let me tell you, that is coming to a theater near you. Yeah. I'm telling you, think about this. When you start looking at your friends that are getting married, all right, you're going to count out 10 of them. Okay. When you get to 10, six of them are going to get divorced. So six of those weddings that you're going to go to, you shouldn't even bought a dress for it because they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know.
I only have one friend who's gotten married right now. So give me a couple years.
Ooh, no, I'm telling you, a couple years, my foot. Watch. It's going to start. You're at that age now. Between that 20 and 25, it's like a slot machine. Those wheels just start rolling. Everyone's going to start grabbing those spouses very soon.
Alrighty. Well, with that, guys, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about could schools face bankruptcy from the name, image, and likeness lawsuit. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about Dak Prescott and the future that he may or may not be with the Dallas Cowboys after the 2024 season. And now we're going to be talking about could schools face bankruptcy from the name, image, and likeness lawsuit. So we got some more juicy details on that.
Yes. So
yes.
This caught my eye because I know so much about this. So I'm looking forward to hearing this and hearing what you have to say about it, and then I'll give my take as well. So, because I know you know a lot about this as well.
I know some.
Okay. You must be selling yourself short.
So, meet the man responsible for bringing disorder to college athletics and who could shape its future. On Thursday, within a matter of a few hours, the current unruly state of college athletics was on full display. The NCAA's transfer portal buzzed to life with dozens of new additions who've been lured away by financial inducements from booster-led collectives. The state of Virginia passed legislation that defies NCAA rules by permitting its schools to directly compensate athletes starting July 1st. And finally, a National Association filed a third complaint with the National Labor Relations Board seeking to make athletes employees. Meanwhile, with an auditorium on campus of Howard University, the man who at least partially controls any future college athletic models, the guy perhaps responsible for bringing disorder to the landscape as well as determining a more stable future, took to the stage for a 90-minute panel discussion. Dressed in a dark suit and striped tie, Jeffrey Kessler peered through spectacles at the audience before him. Kessler, who is 69, is the lead attorney in what is shaping up to be the most revolutionary case in NCAA history, an antitrust lawsuit that seeks billions of dollars in retroactive monetary damages to former athletes for name, image, and likeness pay. The case has the potential to, for one, cost the power conferences and NCAA enough money that may fear bankruptcy, and secondly, topple all NCAA compensation rules related to name, image, and likeness. There is something else too. A settlement of the case could produce a future athlete compensation model that will shape the industry for years to come, possibly bringing structure and solutions to the landscape, likely to in the form of athlete revenue sharing. To do so, college athletic leaders need the approval of the plaintiffs and their lawyer. A possibility is that this all gets settled in our litigation, in which we agree on a new system with the NCAA. Kessler, co-executive chairman at the power law firm Winston & Strawn, told the crowd at the event hosted by the Drake Group, which is an organization whose mission is to advance integrity in college sports. There are proposals out there by the NCAA President Charlie Baker to compensate the athletes. There are systems that could be negotiated as part of the settlement. That is up to the NCAA. They'll have to decide if they can actually agree on what it is, and then we have to agree on it.
Okay. All right. Give me, if you want to talk about anything before I start, go right ahead. Or if you want me to dive in,
you dive in first, and then I'll add on to it afterwards.
Okay. Everyone, remember the name Jeffrey Kessler. Okay. And I'm not joking. This is the man that can change college football forever. Mm-hmm. when we talk about the college football super league, sounds wonderful, right?
Right.
But what do I always say? It's never gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
It can't happen because of that man right there, Jeffrey Kessler. There are a number of universities that are terrified about these lawsuits. That's the reason why Oregon State and Washington State fought their butts off to keep the Pac-12 together, even though there's only 2 teams, and fought in court to ensure that they have a war chest set aside for Jeffrey Kessler. Because these lawsuits, the NCAA's been losing one after the next one, after the next one, after the next one. But these lawsuits are not any ordinary lawsuits. These lawsuits are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. These lawsuits, some of these schools and universities are desperately scrambling to get money and start to build their own slush fund, terrified that when these judgments come down, these schools are going to be expected to pay millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to former players. And guess what? It's justified. When you go back and you look at all these players for all these years, all these universities were making money off of their name, image, and likeness, off their jersey sales, off their television deals. And these kids were getting nothing. You look at Terrell Pryor getting thrown out of school because he gave away some of his memorabilia. Number of players have gotten thrown out of school, suspended. Reggie Bush doesn't have his Heisman Trophy because he sold some of his, he took money from boosters and things of that nature. The NCAA in college football has had their boot on a lot of players' neck for a long time, with the rule that they're amateurs, but we can make as much money off these guys by paying them just for their college tuition and holding them back. And now the floodgates are open, and now they're like, go ahead and get as much money as you want, all this. But no one thought about the fact that, hey, what about the last 100 years of all these players, especially in modern time, in the BCS era, where these players, these universities are making hundreds of millions of dollars every single year off of these players that were getting nothing but a college degree. And the college degree is fantastic, but a lot of people are delusional. These kids came to your university to play football. So many of them had no interest in ever getting a degree. And guess what? The teachers and faculty and the chancellors all knew this, but they wanted the teams to play. The reason why Georgia spends so much money on football, the reason why Alabama and Texas and USC and Michigan and Notre Dame spend so much money on college football, because they invest in college football, invest in it because they're going to make a boatload back. Well, part of that boatload back is we have free labor. And so we don't have to pay these guys. But we got television deals. We got this, and this. We're selling posters and jerseys and everything else. Well, all these kids for the last 50 years who were struggling. I remember there was a player, his mom, they accused him, I believe it was Dak. I mean, not Dak, but Des Bryant. They accused his mom of being in the streets, and we'll leave it at that. While he was a top flight player playing in the Big 12, even if it's, let's say if it's true or if it's not true, I don't know. But his mom wouldn't have had to be in the streets if it is true, if he was getting some name, image, and likeness money. I've known kids. I had a friend of mine that I went to high school with that played at Ohio State. He came from an incredibly poor family. And so I knew the kid. I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't do anything. But this kid started selling drugs while he was down at Ohio State. And I know where his money was going because I'm from the town. He was shipping that money back home to help his mom pay rent and put food on the table. He got busted. He got thrown out of school. He didn't graduate. He didn't make it to the pros because he got thrown out. Maybe a guy like that maybe gets a little name, image, and likeness money. He doesn't have to do these kind of things. He can send home money to mama, take care of mom, get the bills paid, get everything going without all this going on. This is what this lawsuit is about. The reason why these universities are terrified is because I have seen so many different articles and things that people talking about it. No one thinks any college university has a shot at all of winning these lawsuits. They all think they're going to lose. Now, the reason why I start talking about why college football playoffs, the Super League is a possibility, because all these universities that I keep seeing are all worried they're going to lose this lawsuit and it's going to be massive. And the best option is, hey, why don't we settle this out of court? We set aside a large chunk of money to pay these guys out of court so we don't get the hammer landed on us. And we take in some of these things from the Super League where kids are able to get paid by the university and have revenue sharing and insurance. Because one of the things that's not talked about is college football players go and they play college football and they break their legs, they blow out their knee, they break their hips and shoulders and all this stuff. These are lifelong injuries that affect them for years to come. When they leave college, insurance is over. You're hobbling around. Hey, I played college, but I barely can walk nowadays. Now there's going to be insurance programs put in place. These kids are going to be able to make money, share in the revenue. The university will make their money, but not all the money anymore. This lawsuit is going to have to be settled, because if it is not settled, the judgment can be massive and it could put some universities in bankruptcy. There's a lot of universities that work at a very fine line. They spend every penny they get and they haven't saved enough to pay. Majority of the universities do not have the ability, if they lose a massive lawsuit like this, to pay. Can you see why a lot of these universities are going to be willing to come in, talk to the lawyers and say, let's settle this, let's put in a structure so this never happens again, which means you're not going to get the whole college football Super League. But what has been done with the college football Super League, and that's one of the reasons why I talk about it, is because it's not what the program's going to be, but it is the blueprint of how college football is going to change. This lawsuit, they're gonna have to settle it and then adopt things for the future so that none of this ever happens again, which means you're going to have to pay players. You're going to have to give them insurance. You're going to have to work out a universal name, image, and likeness program so that the universities are protected and the players are protected so this never happens again. That's the reason why this guy is so important. Now, I'm not telling you, I'm not taking either side. So if you're listening to me, you think I'm taking either side. I'm just talking to you about the facts. The NCAA, every time they go to court, a judge looks at what they've done and like, this is absolutely wrong. And they've been losing lawsuit after lawsuit, year after year after year. And I have yet to see any university, any chancellor talk about this situation without worry on their breath, as they're worried that this is the one that's going, this is all the other ones were little cuts. This one is a hatchet to the head. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why there's universities that are worried that they may have to file bankruptcy if this goes fully to court and a judge actually rules on this. It can cripple some universities.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I feel like those universities are going to try and settle instead of going to court, because what's going to happen if they go bankrupt, you know?
See, because there are some universities, there's some big time universities that can weather the storm. The Ohio States, the Michigans, the Notre Dames, the Texases of the world, the Georgia Alabamas of the world. They can take a major punch and reel from it, but recover. Mm-hmm. But what about the smaller universities?
Right.
The universities like the TCUs of the world, mm-hmm. The Mississippis of the world, the Tulanes of the world. Mm-hmm. There are some universities, the Lehighs of the world, the Liberties of the world. Mm-hmm. Where are they going to get money to settle this lawsuit? Mm-hmm. They're not.
Yeah.
That's the reason why when you talk about this college football playoff negotiations and things, why these universities rolled over to the Big Ten and the SEC is because the alternative is, hey, we can't afford to not get a piece of this money. It's more money than we were going to get before, and we're terrified. This lawsuit is coming. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? Right. So sums it up right there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into our Keeping the Faith Feel Good story of the week. So make sure you guys stick around and we will be back in a minute.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about could schools face bankruptcy from name, image, and likeness lawsuit, and now we're gonna dive into our Keeping the Faith Feel Good story of the week. Sorry, I realized I had lipstick on my face.
First, you had the sound effects, then you started checking for the lipstick. You got it going on. Don't even worry about it. If you got a little lipstick on your forehead, don't worry about it.
Oh gosh. Alrighty. So, our lovely little sweet story of the week. Tate doesn't like these as much because he likes the messy stories, but I think I like these too. I always find cute little stories. So
okay, I'm bracing myself for this one. This one. It's like, okay, woosah, let's see what's going on.
Okay, so a police officer drives a man to a job interview after pulling him over. In a heartwarming turn of events, a young man from Illinois was landed a job opportunity thanks to compassion and understanding of a local police officer. The officer pulled over a vehicle with expired plates. Upon approaching the car, he found the 22-year-old behind the wheel without a valid driver's license. However, instead of reacting with a ticket, the officer took a moment to listen to the 22-year-old's situation. Baldwin, who was the last name of the 22-year-old, explained to the officer that he was on his way to a job interview and did not have any other means of transportation. Realizing the importance of the moment and the potential impact that a ticket could have on Baldwin's life, the officer decided to drive Baldwin to his job interview himself. Sometimes, something came upon me, God, whatever it was, and said, give him a little break. So that's what I did, the officer said. Baldwin not only made it to his interview on time, but also impressed his potential employers enough to secure the job. Reflecting on the unexpected turn of events, Baldwin expressed his gratitude, saying, it meant everything to me. So,
Okay.
Little story.
Sure.
I want to know where these police officers are at, because all the police officers that pull me over are mean.
I've been pulled over more times than I can. I've never had a ticket. I don't believe I've ever had a ticket. I've been pulled over so much. It's not even funny. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
And another back channel, different back time. Let's just go there. But I've never had a ticket. First off, I'm gonna take the light side of it first. I thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, what's his name again?
The kid?
Yeah.
His last name is Baldwin.
Mr. Young
Kashawn.
Mr. Baldwin.
Kashawn
Baldwin. Okay. I see my man Kashawn pulling up with 5-0 in front of my office, and he gets out and he comes in. He comes in with a police escort. I'm like,
this dude's important.
He's already. No, see, I'm thinking he's already coming with bags. You know, he has issues already.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking maybe if he has to show up for the interview with police, there could be problems later on.
This is the lighthearted side of this.
I'm joking about this. I'm not really being serious about this. That's if you wanted to take that side of it. You don't want to show up. Here's the crazy thing. The most craziest interview I have ever had in my life that I ever gave someone an interview. I interview a lot of people. This kid showed up at the interview. He wasn't a kid. He was a grown man. He was 26, 27.
That's a grown man, yeah.
With mama and daddy. And they waited in the area for him to do the interview. Mama wanted to come in for the interview, but I had to lay the law down like, you can't come in here. You can't bring mama into the interview. You understand what I'm saying? So that's another thing that popped in my head. It made me think about that. You don't show up with mom and dad at the interview, and you don't show up with the police in the interview. Those are bad signs. You talk about dating horror stories and you talk about red flags. But as an employer, those are two red flags. Do you not see this?
No, I understand what you're saying. Who knows?
Put a little money in the collection plate because you know I'm preaching gospel.
You don't know if they could see the cop car though, or if the cop decided to walk in. So you don't know if that's
If you
but I
walk
do
in
understand
with Barney, if you walk in with Barney Fife, you're not getting the job. That's all I'm saying. Am I wrong?
I don't think anybody would be intimidated if you walked in with Barney.
Okay. Barney Fife. Barney Fife is like an old police show from Andy. Okay, making sure you knew who.
I don't think anybody would be intimidated with Barney walking through the door.
Okay. Your goal is to do hard news one day, or do news, or entertainment news, but news in the future. So, on this particular day, You have an interview with CNN. They got a lead anchor position available. No, scrap that. Make it more fun. Make it Good Morning America. All right, Faith James is interviewing. I didn't mean to put your whole government name out there.
It's fine.
she has an interview today with Good Morning America. Mm-hmm. There's 3 people I bet you won't bring with you: mom, dad, or the police. Am I right?
Hell, if a police officer escorting me will get me a job, maybe I will bring a police officer with me.
I'm just letting you know. Are you bringing any of those 3?
No. And the fact that you had someone bring mom and dad to a job interview, listen, my man, if you are watching the show, if you have ever watched the show, don't do that again. Do not do that again.
Or you lie. Hey, this is my agent and this is my publicist, and they've come along with me on this interview. Why do they look like you? Just a coincidence. I'm lying. If I got mama and daddy with me, all right, I'm sorry. They own an agency.
It's time to put the big boy pants on. It's okay. Do you know how many things I wish I could, like, first starting out as an adult, like a real adult? Do you know how many times I wanted to, like, have my mom come with me and do things? But that's not how life works. Sometimes you just have to learn how to do it yourself. You can maybe call mom or text mom, but don't bring mom with you.
Right. And you can't bring 5-0 to your interview either. I'm just letting you know.
Can't bring 12 to the job interview.
You can't bring an NYPD Blue to your interview. I'm just saying. That's all a brother is trying to tell you. Now,
moving on.
Let's move another side of here. Let's talk about the police officer. Mm-hmm. Good job, my man.
Yeah.
I give that. There's not
Very
enough
sweet.
of these stories out there.
No.
Everyone wants to focus on the bad cop. Mm-hmm. And God knows there's a lot of stories out there of bad cops.
Yes.
But for every one bad cop, there's 5 or 10 good cops out there. The small ugly always outweigh the nice side of things. Mm-hmm. This is a great side of a story where I wish more of these stories would get out there of showing, because not only does it put the police in a different light, but it can also influence other police officers.
Right.
You hear about, as a police officer, you hear this story about how this police officer helped out Kashawn and got him to an interview and used common sense. Listen, this kid is just trying to get this young man is trying to get to an interview. And so instead of giving him a hard time, why don't I give him an escort so that if there's another officer coming along that sees him, I got his back. Get him there, get him to his interview, give him like a note or a warning or something like that. Get him home. He got the job. It's a great story. It's a great story for policemen. It's a great story for Kashawn. It's a winning situation, and America needs to see more stories about great police officers because maybe it makes other police officers start to think. Like I talked about before, hey, I've been pulled over a lot, but I've never had a ticket. But I've been pulled over a lot. Maybe seeing more stories like this maybe bridges the gap between some of the things that have gone on in the past with police officers and say, hey, there's another way of doing things. I don't have to be this tough cop or uncaring cop. I can also be a father, a family man. a leader in the community where I look around and say, I look at the situation. Yes. Did he do something wrong? Yes, he did. And you could take the approach of, we're going to write him up. We're going to throw him in jail. We're going to take him in. And he's just sitting there saying, listen, sir, I know my tags are expired, but I'm broke. And I'm just trying to get a job. And I am on my way to the interview. And you know what else? This cop, I'm giving him a 10 out of 10. Because not only that, he followed him to the interview. Let's see if you really do got an interview over there, Kashawn. All right, brother Kashawn, did you get the job? All right, now I'm going to help you get home. So he did his due diligence on all the levels by saying, listen, we don't have to throw Kashawn in jail. We don't have to stop him from making his interview that he really needs. And I'm going to do my little due diligence to make sure he's not feeding me a load of whatever you want to call that. I'm not gonna use any creative names for
sugar honey iced tea.
a barrel full of sugar honey iced tea. No, he did his due diligence. He made sure he got there safe, got him there, gave him a warning, maybe even helped him out a little bit, and just said, hey, here's a ticket, but it's a fix-it ticket or something like that. Something that's not gonna affect your life. There's so many times that a cop can take the high road and they don't, because they want to, sometimes it feels like they want to show their authority. This is a guy that used common sense to help out someone that needed help. So it's a great story. That's why I said I was going to start out with the lighthearted part, but then I was going to give you my true feelings on this one, because it's a 10 out of 10. This is my favorite keep in the faith story.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, it is very sweet. And honestly, I agree. I wish there were more stories like this out there, but I also wish more police officers were like this too, because the ones that I've run into, they have not been very nice to me. And I didn't even do anything wrong. So
girl, you don't understand when you get pulled over. I've been pulled over, and I have a which I'm about to get rid of. Which is weird. I'm about to sell my car. I have a limited edition Mach 1 Mustang, and they haven't made very many of these. And I remember being pulled over in a limited edition car, wearing a tux, and the cop makes me get out of the car. He wants to check my car. He wants to frisk me. I'm like, I am going to. How many robbers do you see in a very, limited edition car in a tux coming from a bank robbery? You know what I mean? Or whatever it was.
It's an eccentric heist right there.
Yes. So it's great hearing this story. I love this one. This is one of my favorite stories. I'm happy that Kashawn was able to get the job. More people should recognize a cop like this and get more stories out there, because it does. It helps. It helps cops not always have to get bad stories written about them, because there's some good cops out there. And also seeing some of the good stories maybe help some other cops who are on that fence start leaning the positive way instead of the negative way. Like I said, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. All right, guys. Well, with that, we are going to close out the show for the day. Thank you so much for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Peace out, Kashawn.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't